The worst day in the life of Prophet Muhammad PBUH is widely regarded as the Day of Taif, which occurred in the year 10 of the Islamic calendar, approximately 619 CE. This event was a deeply difficult and painful moment for the Prophet and the early Muslim community. The context of the day: after years of persecution and hardships in Mecca, Prophet Muhammad PBUH faced significant challenges. His mission to spread Islam met fierce opposition from the Quraysh, the tribe that controlled Mecca. In an effort to find a new audience for Islam, the Prophet PBUH traveled to the nearby city of Taif, about 60 miles from Mecca, in the hope that its people would embrace the message of Islam and offer support. Taif was a city of significant importance, and the Prophet hoped its leaders would be more receptive to his message than the hostile Quraysh. However, the events that unfolded on this journey were far more tragic than he had anticipated. Rejection and hostility in Taif. When the Prophet Muhammad PBUH arrived in Taif, he went to the leaders of the city and invited them to accept Islam. However, his message was not met with the open-mindedness he hoped for. Instead, the leaders of Taif rejected his message outright. They ridiculed him, calling him a madman and a liar. They mocked him and even encouraged the townspeople to jeer at him. To make matters worse, the Prophet's message was met with extreme hostility. The people of Taif, including children and slaves, began to throw stones at him, chasing him out of the city. The Prophet PBUH was pelted with stones so severely that his feet were covered in blood. His companions who accompanied him were also attacked. Emotional and spiritual pain. The rejection in Taif was devastating on both a personal and spiritual level for Prophet Muhammad PBUH. This was a man who had dedicated his life to the cause of Islam, faced years of persecution in Mecca, and yet continued to preach. To be so harshly rejected in Taif after such great hopes caused immense sorrow. However, even though the Prophet PBUH was physically and emotionally exhausted, he did not lose his faith. Despite the pain, he turned to Allah in prayer. The Prophet's prayer to Allah. In his distress, the Prophet Muhammad PBUH made a heartfelt supplication to Allah, which is one of the most poignant moments of his life. He said, "O Allah, to you I complain of my weakness, my lack of resources, and my humiliation before people. O most merciful of the merciful, you are the Lord of the weak, and you are my Lord. To whom will you entrust me? To a distant person who will scowl at me? Or to an enemy who you have given power over me? If you are not angry with me, I do not care. Your favor is of greater importance to me. I seek refuge in your light, which illuminates the darkness and through which all affairs of this world and the hereafter are set right." This prayer is a reflection of the Prophet's deep trust in Allah. Despite the immense suffering he was enduring, his words show his unwavering faith, even in the darkest of times. The miracle of the Garden of Utbah and Sheba. In response to the Prophet's distress, Allah sent Jibreel, along with an angel of the mountains, to offer the Prophet PBUH a miraculous opportunity for vengeance. The angel offered to collapse the two mountains surrounding Taif on the people who had mistreated him, but the Prophet PBUH refused. Instead, he hoped that future generations of Taif might embrace Islam. The Prophet PBUH showed mercy despite his own suffering, reflecting the depth of his compassion. Meanwhile, a wealthy Christian merchant named Utbah and his brother Sheba, who were from Taif, had witnessed the Prophet's treatment. Moved by the event, they sent him grapes and invited him to their garden. The Prophet PBUH accepted their hospitality and rested there. It was in this moment, surrounded by the shade of the trees and the fruits, that the Prophet PBUH was comforted by the company of Zayd ibn Haris, his companion, and the blessings of Allah. The aftermath of Taif. Despite the brutal rejection and hostility in Taif, the Prophet Muhammad PBUH did not give up on spreading Islam. He continued to preach in the surrounding areas, seeking support wherever he could find it. His resilience and commitment to Allah's message were unwavering despite the immense hardships he endured. In the years that followed, Taif would eventually become an important center for Islam, but the events of that day remained a deeply painful chapter in the life of the Prophet. Reflection on the day of Taif stands as one of the most difficult moments in the Prophet Muhammad's life. It was a day filled with emotional and physical pain, marked by rejection, mockery, and violence. However, it is also a day that highlights the Prophet's profound faith in Allah, his remarkable patience, and his forgiveness toward those who wronged him. Despite the immense suffering, the Prophet Muhammad maintained his commitment to his mission, his faith, and his trust in Allah's plan. The day also demonstrated the mercy and compassion of the Prophet Muhammad, as he chose not to take vengeance on the people of Taif, hoping instead for a future where they might accept Islam. The worst day in the life of Prophet Muhammad was the day of Taif, marked by rejection, physical abuse, and emotional distress. Yet, it is also a testament to the Prophet's resilience, mercy, and unwavering faith in Allah, as well as his commitment to his mission. Despite the adversities he faced, the events of this day are remembered as a powerful example of patience, forgiveness, and trust in Allah's will.